Hey, my name is Zeus Tipado, a writer for Healing Maps, and let's talk about ayahuasca and alcohol addiction. A study dropped earlier this year from Brazil, and they looked at ayahuasca's role in alcohol addiction, and they found some really interesting things. There's this thing called ethanol-induced behavioral sensitization, or EIBS, which is an indicator of alcohol addiction. They found that ayahuasca reduced the effects of EIBS, which also reduced the likelihood of addiction. But that wasn't all. They found that ayahuasca also prevented the anxiety and stress effects from alcohol withdrawal. It also prevented other anxiolytic effects like drowsiness, OCD, and dizziness after a large and repeated dose of alcohol. One thing ayahuasca didn't do is prevent the decrease of dopamine levels in the striatum, which is a part of the brain responsible for voluntary movement. This gives us some evidence that ayahuasca doesn't really affect dopamine receptors, mostly serotonin, which leads to something really interesting. Ayahuasca prevented the increase of 5-HT1A receptor activity associated with chronic alcohol use, while simultaneously increasing 5-HT2A receptors. As you may know by now, 5-HT2A has been popularized in recent psychedelic science as being the primary site in which psychedelics exerts its subjective effects, which is the trip. One more thing, they also found that ayahuasca completely blocked any alcohol-induced chemical process that's responsible for addiction in the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain mostly responsible for memory or lack thereof. This study was great, but it was also amazing because the researchers looked at the ritualistic use of ayahuasca, something that's far more practical than traditional laboratory research. Also, for the researchers that conducted this fantastic study at the Federal University of ALFENAS in Brazil, let me know if you need some help with your own psychedelic research. I don't mind taking a trip to Brazil, especially during Carnival.